6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The Pakistani Prime Minister will arrive in Sri Lanka on a 2-day visit. The Wages Board decides to increase the daily wage of the estate workers to 1,000 rupees. The party leadership says that no external persons can take decisions about the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. The Sri Lankan embassy in the US requests all stakeholders to drop false opinions against Sri Lanka. In foreign news, South Africa halts AstraZeneca vaccine over new variant. In sports, football, Tigres became the first Mexican side to reach the Club World Cup final. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka on the 23rd of this month on a 2-day official visit, and he will be the first head of state to visit the country this year. The Director General of the Prime Minister's media, Vijayananda Herath, said that the Pakistani Prime Minister is scheduled to address the Sri Lanka Parliament on the 24th of this month on a request from Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Pakistani Prime Minister will call on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena during his stay in Colombo. The Pakistani Prime Minister is scheduled to hold talks with Sri Lankan leaders on the security of South Asia, peace and stability. The Salaries and Wages Board has decided to increase the daily wage of the estate workers to 1,000 rupees. Minister Nimal Siripal de Silva said that the decision was taken during the meetings of the Wages Board on tea and rubber with the participation of the estate trade unions and the representatives of the employers. The estate workers for nearly 5 years demanded to increase their daily salaries. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has pledged to increase their daily wage in his Vistas of Prosperity manifesto. The General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Sagara Karyavasam says that no external persons can take decisions about the party. He mentioned this to the media as a reply to a statement given by Minister Vimal Weerawansa in connection with the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Taking part in the media briefing, MP Sanjeev Edirimana said that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is working in close cooperation with its affiliated parties. He pointed out Mr. Basil Rajapaksa gave the leadership to the party to score a major political victory in a short period of time. The Sri Lankan ambassador to the US, Ravinath Aryasinghe, has requested the relevant parties not to get misled by the attempts of certain people to tarnish the image of Sri Lanka and its leadership. He has requested to refrain from entertaining wrong views about the country based on such falsehoods. He said that the government is developing the country while protecting the people. Ambassador Ravinath Aryasinghe said that the government is taking measures to provide solutions to the problems of the people by overcoming challenges. He expressed these views while addressing a gathering of US representatives at the Sri Lanka Embassy in Washington. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank introduces the Parinatha Vishrama loan scheme to honour and empower pensioners.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa inspected the trade stalls that are being built near the golf face green in Colombo. The trade stalls are being built by the Navy as another step of the development project centred around the golf face green. The President pointed out the need to build the shops giving an attractive look to the golf face green. The annual Activity Plan 2021 of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, the electricity sector regulator, was unveiled today. A total of 111 projects based on service quality and consumer rights protection in the power industry, the water services industry and the petroleum industry are to be implemented this year. Projects related to the electricity industry have been formulated under the main objectives such as improving productivity and the convenience for electricity consumers and supplying electricity at affordable prices to the consumer. 4 special projects will be implemented this year to expedite the resolution of the electricity consumer complaints and disputes. A special project will also be launched to maintain the efficiency of the street lighting system in the country by introducing a standard for the installation, operation and maintenance of street lighting systems. In order to achieve the goal of electrical safety, the National Framework for the Licensing Electricians Programme is being implemented in collaboration with the other relevant agencies. The projects launched last year to control the sale of substandard lubricants and the sale of illegal lubricants will be further strengthened and implemented. The Committee on Parliamentary Business, which met today under the chairmanship of Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardena, decided to convene the Parliament during the next 4 days. Accordingly, the Secretary-General of Parliament, Dhammika Dasanayake, said that the regulation issued by the Minister of Labour under an extraordinary gazette which was presented in Parliament on the 21st of January under the Employees Provident Fund Act will be taken up for debate tomorrow. Following the commencement of the Parliament tomorrow at 10 a.m, time will be allotted for the oral questions of the Members of Parliament until 11 a.m. Subsequently, the debate will begin at 11 a.m. and will continue until 4:30 p.m. The adjournment motion moved by the ruling party will be taken up for debate from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, says that the number of PCR tests conducted daily will be increased to 20,000. The number of PCR tests conducted at the Kagala Hospital will be increased to 300 tomorrow. He said that the government has taken measures to maintain the treatment centres for the coronavirus-infected patients reported from various regions in the country. 69,348 corona patients have been reported from the country so far. The epidemiology unit said that 63,401 have recovered from the virus. 356 deaths have been reported from the country. A 103-year-old woman in Kirimangoda in Gala passed away yesterday and is the oldest person to die due to COVID-19. Meanwhile, the number of COVID patients has increased in the Colombo and Gampaha districts. 459 infected persons have been reported from those two districts yesterday. The Ministry of Education has announced that steps will be taken to give the COVID vaccine to school teachers by the end of this month or at the beginning of next month. Minister Professor G.L. Pires said that discussions with health authorities in this regard have been completed. Speaking to the media in Anuradhapura, the minister said it is important to protect teachers to continue with educational activities. He said that teachers would be vaccinated under several phases. The Sergeant-at-Arms of the Parliament, Narendra Fernando, announced that the members of Parliament are invited to attend the random PCR testing programme scheduled to be held tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the parliamentary premises. The random checkups will be conducted once a week during parliamentary sitting weeks as well as during the non-sitting weeks with the full support of the Department of the Director General of Health Services. The Water Supply Drainage Board says that the water supply to several areas in Vattara will be suspended from 10 p.m. today to 4 p.m. tomorrow. The Water Board said that the water supply to Hekitta, Paliyavatta, Veliamuna Road, Balagalla, Galagahaduwa, Maradana Road, Alakanda and to a part of the Handala Road will be suspended due to maintenance work. The 104th Ratana Sutra chanting organised by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation takes place this evening from the Uva Paranagama Ambagasdova Sri Visuddharama Temple. The Ratana Sutra chanting will be held under the guidance of the Chief Monk of the temple, Venerable Ambagasdova Sri Nyanavimla Thero. It will be broadcast at 6:30 p.m. over the SLBC Sinhala Commercial Service, the City FM and Regional Services. The Bank of Ceylon and the Amrita of Dali Butler Company are sponsors of the religious ceremony. That's local news.
People's Bank introduces the Parinatha Vishrama loan scheme to honour and empower pensioners.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
State Minister Dr. Sudarshani Fernandopulle said steps are being taken to provide COVID-19 vaccines to all the citizens from 30 to 60 years of age from the 1st of March. She said that 4,000 centres have been prepared for this purpose. The State Minister said it is expected to operate at least 2,000 centres daily and will vaccinate about 300 people from each of these centres. Meanwhile, Dr. Fernandopulle said that so far no major side effects have been reported after giving 160,000 vaccines. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, the Private Bus Owners Association has decided to postpone the bus strike which is planned to be launched tomorrow. The decision has been made following the discussion held with the State Minister of Finance Ajit Niwad Cabral this morning. The strike was scheduled to be launched tomorrow over several demands by private owners. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, South Africa halts AstraZeneca vaccine over new variant. Monks and nurses join nationwide protests against Myanmar coup. China's tech giants face new anti-monopoly rules. South Africa has put its rollout of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on hold after a study showed disappointing results against its new COVID variant. Scientists say the variant accounts for 90% of new COVID cases in South Africa. The study, involving around 2,000 people, found the vaccine offered minimal protection against mild and moderate cases, but experts say there is still hope that it will be effective in preventing severe infections. Police turned water cannons on protesters in Myanmar's capital today as tens of thousands of people joined a third day of nationwide demonstrations against the military's removal of elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi a week ago. Calls to join protests and to back a campaign of civil disobedience have grown louder and more organized since last Monday's coup, which drew widespread international condemnation. New anti-monopoly rules for China's tech giants were introduced yesterday. The guidelines, which formalize draft laws released in November, come as regulators try to crack down on anti-competitive behavior. The rules are aimed at stopping China's e-commerce giants Alibaba and JD.com from abusing their dominant market position. Specifically, the rules stop e-commerce platforms from forcing vendors to deal exclusively with them. And now the main points of the world news segment. Once again, South Africa halts AstraZeneca vaccine over new variant. Monks and nurses join nationwide protests against Myanmar coup. China's tech giants face new anti-monopoly rules. That was world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in development news, Irrigation State Minister Anuradha Jayaratne said the government has allocated 300 million rupees to renovate the irrigation system in the Kandy district under the Vari Saubhagya National Irrigation Development Drive. He was participating at a ceremony to mark the beginning of the irrigation development in Vavagama, Navadapiri recently. After completing the project, nearly 150 acres could be cultivated with paddy and water will be supplied to abandoned paddy fields. That was development news. And now in sports news, in football, Tigres became the first Mexican side to reach a Club World Cup final with a surprise victory over Copa Libertadores champions Palmeiras of Brazil. French striker André Pierre netted his third goal of the tournament by stroking in Tigres winner from the penalty spot. In the second half, Tigres will face either Champions League winners Bayern Munich or Egypt's Al Ahly in the final. In cricket news, today is the fourth day of the first test of the England tour of India in Chennai. Batting first, England scored 578 in their first innings, while India scored 337. India was 39 for one wicket at the close of play today. The second test between South Africa and Pakistan is underway in Rawalpindi for the third day today. Batting first, Pakistan scored 272 in their first innings. In reply, South Africa scored 201 in their first innings. Thereafter, Pakistan scored 298 in their second innings. South Africa scored 274 in their second innings. Accordingly, Pakistan won the match by 95 runs. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Cargill's has resumed extending space and payments processing infrastructure to SME businesses at Cargill's locations. Cargill's is hoping to grow its payment ecosystem and champion rights of the merchant. The resumption follows a gradual decline in risk from COVID-19. Select SME retailers on certain days can retail their products outside select Cargill's locations. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Oil prices rose today to their highest in just over a year, with Brent futures nudging past $60 a barrel, boosted by supply cuts among key producers in hopes of further US economic stimulus measures to boost demand. Saudi Arabia's pledge of extra supply cuts in February and March on the back of reductions by other members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, including Russia, is helping to balance global markets and support prices. That was Economic News.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now for the weather report. The Met Department says a few showers will occur in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Batticaloa districts. Showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragamu province and in the Galla, Mathura and Kalutara districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 km per hour can be expected in the northern, north central, northwestern and eastern provinces, in the Hambantota district and in the eastern slopes of the central hills too. Misty conditions can be expected in the central, Sabaragamu and the Uva provinces and in the Galla and Mathura districts during the morning. That was the weather report. Now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The Pakistani Prime Minister will arrive in Sri Lanka on a 2-day visit. The Wages Board decides to increase the daily wage of the estate workers to 1,000 rupees. The party leadership says that no external persons can take decisions about the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna. The Sri Lankan ambassador in the US requests all stakeholders to drop false opinions against Sri Lanka. In foreign news, South Africa halts AstraZeneca vaccine over new variant. In sports football, Tigres became the first Mexican side to reach the Club World Cup final. That concludes this news broadcast.